Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning, but we are back for our next art lesson. The sun's shining outside, so now I got a glare in my glasses. But anyways, I'll take those off. So we're back. So if any of you are around to join us, we're going to do a drawing today. Today I have Caden with me. Yesterday it was Caitlin. This is my son Caden, and he's 12. And he has done art with me since he was, I think, 3 years old. And so sometimes I share some of the past classes that he's done with me when he was little, because when Pieces of My Art started in 2011, which that's coming up on 9 years, it's crazy. I just taught art to kids in my basement. And so that's where I started with this. And so we're going to give your kids and you too an opportunity to do some art while we're all at home during this time. So anyways, that's my intro. Today we're going to draw a chameleon. And I got to flip the phone around and get it up on the stand. So it's going to take me just a second to get going, and then we'll get ready to draw. So we'll be right there. Okay, flip this around. Hopefully everybody has a good connection today. We're kind of out in the country, so you never know what kind of Wi-Fi obstacles we're going to have. So anyways, all right, let me sit down here. And I can't read comments. We're trying to pull it up on my laptop so that way we can see if you guys have comments, or so we can kind of talk with you. But I think my laptop just needs cleaned up. I think there's a lot of memory bogging it down, so it takes a minute for it to get pulled up on my page. Caden, if you refresh it up in the corner, that will do that. That way, if I need to answer any questions, I can. But I also want to make sure that we have a good connection, and I need to know that because I don't want to do the whole class and find out nobody could get on. So anyways, there we are. You see it, Caden? So just click on that, I think, and we should be able to see. All right, we're good. You see you, Caden? All right, we'll be a little bit behind. It's kind of weird watching it from this angle. Okay, so the supplies that we need for this, we're going to do, basically, this is what I'm thinking that I'm going to do. So we'll start out with simple drawing first. I believe that all kids, once they learn how to draw simple shapes and put things together to make drawings, then they can just really take off with all kinds of creative things to do from there. So I have just a little bit heavier paper. This is actually pastel paper for charcoal paper. It's just a little heavier, so when we watercolor on it, it won't soak through. If all you have, actually, Caden, I think I have 2 sheets there. If all you have is copy paper, is fine. Don't think you have to have anything special. We can draw with copy paper. A Sharpie. I went to Dollar General this morning. Boy, was there a lot of people there. And I bought Sharpies. You can get them two in a pack for $1. And then I got this there too. So this is something, if you're at your, although Carney only had a couple pads. I think there's 2 left. There's only 3. This is heavyweight paper for wet and dry artwork. So it's just a multi-purpose artist pad. Michael's is still open as far as I know, so you could go there and get some. You could order online. When we get to the acrylic part of this lesson today, I do have a link on my page that's pinned at the top that you can go and you can buy the exact supplies that I use for acrylic painting for my classes. But we're going to start with this. So we're going to use our Sharpie. Don't get distracted by that because that's behind us. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Okay. So anyways, so we got our Sharpie. And the reason I like to draw with Sharpies rather than pencils, and this is how I always started out my kids. You remember? We always did Sharpies when you were little, right? We didn't do pencils because I don't want to teach kids to start erasing stuff, because it gets to be where we think everything has to be perfect and we don't just draw. And when you get caught up in perfection and trying to achieve that, then it starts to immobilize us, to keep us from wanting to draw. And so you kiddos that are on here, put your pencil away and use a Sharpie. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, because it's okay to make mistakes. And we'll learn how to just let it be your own creation. And then once you've gotten this drawing down, you can practice it and you can get better at it and better at it and better at it. Okay, so the first thing, so we're going to draw a picture of a chameleon. It's going to be on a branch, and our chameleon's going to be kind of in the middle of our page. And so the very first thing we're going to do is, like, if you find the halfway point, the line that goes directly across the page, is anybody on here? And also, can you see what I'm doing? Is it coming through for you guys? I just want to know if it's okay. So I don't know if anybody's on here or not, but if you could just give me a thumbs up that you're receiving a good quality picture, just let me know that. So anyways, I'm going to move on. So, okay, so halfway across is the middle of our paper. We're just going to come in, if you take your fingers and do about like 3 inches. Let's look at our Sharpie. How about the half the length of the Sharpie? Just different ways to kind of gauge distance and where to put this so we can get it in the middle. So we're going to, all we're going to do is draw a circle smaller than a penny. And this is our chameleon's eye. Okay, so that's what we're starting with. All right. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So we have it kind of right across the middle, and then we just have about half the length of our pen in is where the circle is. Okay, so going up from there, we're going to start with a line that angles up towards the circle but doesn't quite touch it. Okay, now we're going to go across the top of the circle, just kind of round that around, and we're going to stop before we get to that edge. You guys can rewatch this, you can take it slow, but I just want to encourage you to just go for it, and if you need to, start on copy paper, and then you can practice and practice as much as you want, and then you'll get it down in no time. All right, so now we're going to come up just a little bit. So it's almost like we're going up a hill here. We come up, we're climbing up this hill, it leveled out, now we're going to go up just a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to round the top of the hill, and we're going to come down like a cliff. Just like that. And we're going to stop. Okay, we're going to come back down here where we started. I want to bring, see, it's about right at the bottom of my eye. I want to bring this down just a little bit lower. You just kind of gauge, just so it's not right level with the eye. I just go a little bit lower. Now I'm going to go in right to the far side of the eye. Okay. Now I'm going to come down. So this is the top of his mouth and his kind of his lip. So now I'm going to make another curve. And this time I'm going to bring this in and go in farther and then stop. So I went almost the same distance from this little bump here for the back of his head in. Okay. So now we're going to do the back, the curve of his back. Now we want to make sure we can get a nice curly tail. This is what's going to be fun. So we don't want to go off the paper. So we're just going to bump up. We're going to start right in the middle of this line, this cliff that we left hanging here. And we're going to bump up. And I don't know if my hand's going to be right in the middle of this. I'm trying to watch this to see where it's showing up at. But anyways, we're going to bump up. I have a feeling my hand's kind of in the way, and I apologize. We're making a big, wide curve. And then I want to just bring this in. Not too far in, because I got to do the other side of his tail. Let's see how we're going to do this. So this is his tail. So before we get confused on this, we're going to come down here. So his tail's coming down, but we need to, how do we do this here? I just confused myself. Sometimes I get confused with my own drawings. If I come in like that, I don't know. we're gonna just leave it like this, like it's coiled up together. We can fix this. I'd have to look at this, and since I have a Sharpie, it may change it. So we're just gonna leave that like that. I'd have to look, because if I come around this way, yeah, that'll work. Okay, we'll just see. His tail gets smaller as we get to the end, basically, is what I'm trying to get it to do. This still may not make sense. There's the tail coming in. I think it should be fine. The tail kit should be a little tighter here, but that's okay. This is where sometimes I make mistakes when I draw, but I don't let that stress me out. And I'm just kind of coloring that in a little bit so you can see. So there's our tail. If we follow this like a search, or what is it, the mazes, so we come in and we can see that this tail, this might be something you might have to work on a couple times to get that right. But anyways, we're not gonna worry about that. Okay, so we're gonna come back to here. Before we go all the way to the tail with his body, we wanna do some legs. And we'll do, just get a leg going, that way we know where to put our branch. So we're gonna bring down, this is the leg, the far leg that's farthest from us. We're gonna come straight in just a little ways, and then we're gonna come down, we're just gonna make a little curve on the end. That's his little foot that's holding on to this. Okay, so then we're gonna come down on the other side and make his arm, so it's got two sides. And we're gonna come down this way. And I'm not gonna go all the way to the end of that, because I wanna get the branch on. His hand's kinda on the other side of the branch, so we don't really see that. So we're gonna leave that open like that. Okay, so we're gonna come up here. This is the arm that's closest to us. This is why we stopped here. So we're gonna come up here on his body, and we're gonna come in that way. We've got a line going in like that. And then we're gonna come down this way. If you happen to cross your lines, don't worry about that either. That's something you can work out later. So this hand is gonna be right here. So I make a little curve going this way. This hand's gonna be holding on to the piece of wood, the stick that he's climbing on. So I came in, stopped, I came down, and then I curved it a little bit towards the left. Now I'm going to come up and make the other side of his arm. I'm going to come down. I'm going to make the other side. And I'm just going to go follow the same look, the same lines that I did before. And I'm going to close that off. It's almost like they have little mittens. You can put a couple little lines in there to separate the toes or whatever. Okay. So now we're going to come for the back part. So I'm going to come down. This is the leg that's in the back, closest to us. Make his little knee joint. And I'm watching that I'm kind of making all the feet kind of stop on the same level here, pretty close. We can make it fit the branch when we get the branch on there. So we're coming down, this is the top of his leg, and we're going to make a foot just like we did this front one. And then I'm going to come down over here, come down on that side, and then we'll just close it in. Put a couple little toe marks if you want. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the other leg yet. We'll figure that out when we get the branch on. So now I'm going to enclose his body because we know the other leg's on the other side of his body. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this line underneath. And I'm going to make this line go right here to where the tail is. Okay. And then before I do the last leg, the fourth leg, we're going to make our branch, okay? You doing okay, Caden? You got it. All right. Good job, dude. Is this one a little complicated? No? Maybe. So it's just been a while. I know. You get out of practice. It's always good to practice. Okay, so remember how we left this back foot open here? So I want to start with the top end of my branch. So I'm going to start all the way at the side. I'm going to come right across where that back foot is. I'm going to come right underneath this foot. Our branch doesn't have to be perfectly straight because branches have bends and all that stuff in it. So I made the branch go between his feet, and then I'm going to go behind his tail, because the branch can come down. Now remember, we opened this up, so this is where you got to figure out where his tail is. It'd be easier if we had it painted. So I know this is not part of his tail, and this isn't part of his tail, and that's not, and that. So now it kind of opens up his tail so you can see it a little bit better. It makes more sense. Okay, so that's just the top edge of our branch. It wouldn't have to be a branch. You could be on a railing, on a rock, or whatever. So for us, it's going to be a branch. So now I'm going to do the bottom edge, and I'm not going to have mine real thick, but it's thick enough that we don't have to worry about his feet or anything else. I do have to go in there because where his tail is, and then we're going to go across here. I want my branch to go all the way off the paper instead of it looking like it's broken off the end, okay? Now, I do need a little bit of his little hand holding on here, which is going to have a line in it. It's okay, just like a little thumb. Do chameleons have thumbs? Oh, hi Coco. Hi Caitlin, are you watching? Caitlin, my granddaughter, who was on this yesterday, is with her Aunt Ariana today, and she is watching. I hope you're drawing. Does Ariana have drawing paper, Caitlin? Okay, so now we need one more leg for a chameleon on the back side over here. So we just got to decide where we want it. It doesn't even have to really show. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of put it back behind here. And I'm not even going to really let it. It's right behind his other foot, so I'm not going to even worry about where that's at. So we don't have to put much detail there. Okay, a couple more things, and then we're going to get the paint out. We just want a little dot inside of his eye. This gives him a little personality. A little dot for a nostril. If you want to make designs for painting on your chameleon, you can. This is where it can get fun. You could make him a spotted chameleon. This is where you guys get creative and make them how you want. You could do, because when you paint, it's always more fun to have more designs. You could make him have stripes. And then you could do some designs in his stripes to paint. So you could do zigzags. You could do circles. And then you could do another one. So you can have all these different colors for your chameleon. What else could we do? Does anybody have any suggestions that's watching? I see a lot of people watching. I hope your kids are getting to paint or draw with us. So if you have any ideas, ask your kids what they think. Give me some ideas of patterns and stuff. Sometimes it's hard to get your mind working. What are you doing, Caden? You look like you're doing scales on his. Can you show him? Turn it, hold it this way. Show, look. Oh, that's cool. Very good. See, he's got some scales going on. And he's got the stripes under the belly. So anyways, while you guys think of that, I'm going to get paint out next. And we're going to do paint. So I have my mixing watercolor set, which I like. Even though these are really dirty, it's okay. It'll still work to make bright colors. This is what I used yesterday. So very first thing I'm going to show you how to do is we're going to make green. And I'm going to show you how to make green with this messy, I'm going to just take a wet paper towel and I'm going to clean off one of these little trays in the lid. I mix in my lid. You can also use a paper plate, but one thing that's nice about watercolor is you can wash it off, because once it gets wet, then you can clean it off. But I want to show you how to make green, which with the patterns, you're going to have a lot of colors you can do. Okay, so remember how I showed you we got to mix your paint to get it wet. So we're going to get a lot of water in here to get this watercolor cake nice and wet. Kind of got a green tint to it already because it was dirty to begin with. It wasn't real pure yellow. So but you can see where it's more yellow over here on my lid. What do you mamas think about homeschooling your kiddos during this time? I think it's kind of awesome, but I know it can be overwhelming and a little daunting. I homeschooled my kids for 12 years, back in the day before we had internet. And so we used textbooks and whatever. It was pretty chaotic at times, but I will tell you, my kids survived and they're all doing well today, so it didn't keep them from graduating from school or going on with the things that they hope to be doing. But anyways, you guys will make it. Okay, so I took this bright blue over here and I'm adding it to my yellow. So do you see the green? Isn't that pretty? Okay, that's one green you can make. So I'm gonna just start painting my chameleon with my green. Again, watercolors is a wet paint, so you have to use water on it. If you're using just like a thin paper, a copy paper, just be careful you don't let your paper get too wet. It'll get really crinkly, but that's okay. It's still good to play around with it. If you don't have watercolors, you can use crayons, you can use colored pencils, you can use markers. Got a little bit of the other color that was on that tray in it, which is good because we need it to change colors anyways. This chameleon is pretty cute. Alright, let's see, we'll mix another color here. Let me do his eye with this yellow. Kind of heavy, but. Okay, so let me show you with, see I already have purple on this lid. I'm gonna get it wet. We're gonna see what happens. It's gonna look more brown, I think. We'll get some yellow. Purple and yellow will make brown. We don't really want this drab of colors, but I just want to show you that you can make brown for your branch here. If you didn't have brown, you may have brown. If you have brown, paint it brown, but if you don't, that's how you make it. You can make it with a lot of different ways, but purple is made of red and blue, and yellow added to it makes brown, because if you mix your three primary colors together, you're going to get brown. Okay, there's his branch that he's on. If your kids do this, I would love to see their finished product when they get done. You can put it in the comments. Also, if you know families that have kids at home that are looking for ideas of things their kids can do while we're learning how to not go places all the time. I know it's just a way different lifestyle. We've gotten accustomed to being able to go and take our kids everywhere, so this is very different. But anyways, if you know some other families that would enjoy having some simple drawing classes and art classes, be sure and share this so that they can know what's going on. And this video will be available to come back to again, I'll say that. Okay, let me do one more thing on it, and then we're going to go on to, I have a fun acrylic thing I want to show you next. Okay, so we can do bright colors. Remember, we can do whatever we want with this chameleon. He does not have to look like what we would see a real chameleon. I make my hot pink zigzag line on him. Okay, so anyways, that's it for our chameleon. So I'm going to set this aside and put that aside, and now I'm going to grab the canvas. So yesterday I told you with your canvas, you don't have to have a canvas to paint on. But this is just a canvas. This is the exact same canvas I used yesterday that had the sunset on it with the trees and the swing. So I just, when class was over, I just painted white paint over it because I want to use it again, because I don't want to go through a bunch of canvases, just to give some simple tutorials on painting. So from this, we're going to, I'm going to get my acrylic paint out. I put it on a plastic coated plate. I like the plastic better because the paint doesn't absorb into it as bad. And I am going to use sunshine is awesome. Our dog is out the window though, and he's white, and he's very dirty and very muddy. It's bare. Like it's raining enough, we need to build an ark. Probably some of us feel like that. Somewhere. Is there a paper clip? There it is. Okay. I gotta get my paints unclogged here because they want to dry in the tip. Alright. I started to tell you some stories about, I don't need that much red. I wasn't really planning on using red today, but there's red. I wanted to tell you some stories about the homeschool days when I used to homeschool. So when I homeschooled my kids, I had, I started with my oldest, Ariana, and she was getting ready to start kindergarten when I started homeschooling her. And I just loved it. I loved teaching my kids when they were young. Loved teaching them how to read. Grade school and kindergarten is so much fun. Workbooks were fun. Everything was fun about homeschooling. And many rewards with it. It was not easy. I have to tell you that. As they got older, I had 6 kids. Was still trying to homeschool. I started putting my older kids in school. So Ariana started school formally, like in Kearney School District. She started in 9th grade. She dual enrolled in 8th. And then Jordan and Jesse started in 5th and 6th. And then I kept the 3 younger ones at home, still homeschooling them. The youngest of the 6, I only taught him kindergarten. And then he ended up starting school with kindergarten as well, which was probably a good thing because he wasn't really ready to start kindergarten. That's a whole nother story. But anyways, so I always wanted to teach my kids art. I would buy art curriculums. I would have all these ideas of art, and it was just a struggle to get through math and spelling. We did, to get them all doing that. We got math and spelling in the morning, language was that, and then it'd be lunchtime, and then I would read to them, which it was reading Little House on the Prairie, it was reading the Chronicles of Narnia, was the main ones that I remember reading to them. That was our social studies. And then science was Bill Nye the Science Guy and whatever stuff they dug up in the backyard, basically. So anyways, they had a great education. I know there's great memories that they have of doing stuff. We did a lot of field trips, which that's kind of out of the question right now. But I mean, tons of PE and home ec. I mean, they folded their laundry, did their laundry. That all counted for that. So anyways, okay, enough of that homeschool story. You guys got this. Okay, so we're going to just make, it's spring, right? Everything, have you noticed? If you've been out any, I have been a little bit, because we're out in the country, trees are starting to get their leaves on them and stuff. So I'm just going to show you how much fun it is to paint with green paint. And there's no green on my plate, so this is what really makes it fun. Okay, so we're just going to show the beauty of green and all the different shades of green. So I'm not going to mix anything on my plate. We're just going to see what happens. I'm going to start with white, though. I always get white on my brush. I get a good amount of white. I'm going to take some yellow, and I'm going to start off with a fun one right out the gate. I'm going to dip it right in the side of my black. I don't know if you were on here yesterday. I did tell you that black and yellow make green. Okay, so those are the colors on my brush. Okay, so we're going to just start making the shape of some leaves on here. Okay. These are my own plants in my own world. I'm not even thinking of anything in particular, but I just want to show you the power of green. Now, I had quite a bit of white in that to begin with, so it makes it a little bit grayer, a grayer green than what I probably wanted to start out with, but I'm going to show you. I wiped my brush off. Now I'm going to just take yellow and black. And I want to show you. I'm going to overlap this. This time I didn't add white to my brush. I still have some on it, but my green's getting a little bit more vivid, brighter. for stuff. It's always, but when you're doing acrylic, you want to paint your background first. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep making leaves all over this, big leaves, because then as these dry, we're going to try some other things on top, okay? Whoops, my brush hit the yellow, or the red. Didn't want that, so there's going to be I don't think I wiped it off. I'm making these big football shaped leaves almost. Just a lot of repeating the same things. Overlapping them, not really worried about where they're at. Right now I'm still just using black and yellow. Caden's over here painting an awesome chameleon. Not saying a word. He's a good student. I can't wait to start. We got our email, I haven't read it from the school, about what we got to start doing. Did you know you get to do school here, Caden? He's psyched. Mom's his teacher. I have loved the memes about teaching kids at home that I've seen. They're hilarious. Just because I can relate to so many of them. Haley, will I be posting the replay? It will be on here since it's live. Hallie, sorry I always call you Haley. Hallie, since it's live, it'll be on my page. Unless I ever take it down, which I don't plan on it. It'll just be on my page. I think when you scroll down, you'll be able to see where my live videos are. I had one from yesterday that I did with Caitlin. So it'll be on there. So yeah, it will be here for the replay. There's nothing hidden about these. So I know Lenny would love to paint with me. Do art, that'd be awesome. I'm glad I can have this. I'm glad we got to slow down. You know what? This is hard. It's affecting my business for sure. My classes are postponed for right now. But there's just something, I don't know. It's going to be good for our families, I think, to just slow down a little bit and be able to connect in a more personal way. So that part of it, I think, is good. Totally. Just to see how we can learn to relate to each other. So don't spend too much time on Facebook or on the internet. Make sure you get this time with your kids. I'm trying hard. I know I have a business. I got to keep that visible for people because, like I said, it's really hit my business. But I have a good presence for you guys here because I do have fun things coming up, and I don't want to have to feel like I'm rebuilding everything when we get back on our feet again. So I'm so excited that I have this. I'm at this time in life where I can offer this. It's just a neat opportunity to be able to connect with so many people. All right, this is just the beginning of green. So I did this really fast, covering the whole thing. There's some white spots, but that's okay. These are my leaves. This could be anything. It could be cactuses, whatever. I didn't pay attention to where they're at. Okay, so I'm not even going to clean my brush. So now I'm going to show you some other combinations. So we always got blue and yellow make green, right? So now I'm going to put blue and yellow together. I still have black on my plate. I'm going to take just a little white to get it just a little bit lighter. Okay, so now let's do this. Hang on here. Sorry, I keep moving my plate right out where you can't see it. So this would be, I mean, your kids are so, I hope they try this too, but this will be good for all you other people that are older than your kiddos, older, anybody that wants to try some of these techniques. I'm going to do a big old palm branch going across here. I'm going to add a little bit more white and yellow so it shows. But see, this is my stem for my palm branch. And now I'm doing palm leaves all down this. Just using this flat brush that I had. It's totally loaded with paint. Just dipping in my colors. Going over top of this. Whoops, got a little red on it, that's okay. I keep hitting my red spot. I'm gonna put one right there so I cover up that white that was right there. We can all dream about the tropical places. I know a lot of disappointed families probably had to cancel vacation plans because of all this. I want to encourage you though, God knows what He's doing. He still has a plan. And we don't lose hope. We just gotta start totally realizing that that's where our trust should have been all along, is in Him and His goodness. He knows what He's doing. He's not shocked by what's going on. He hasn't forgotten us. He hasn't turned His back on us. So I just want to encourage you all to just realize this is just a time that we've been given as a gift to connect with those people around us, especially our kids. Okay, my brush is getting too loaded here. Alright, so I'm using a lot of yellow and white now because I want my palm branches to really show up for you here. I need more yellow. Hang on here. It's a lot quieter here today, Caden. The grandkids aren't here today. They were kind of in the background playing yesterday. Caitlin was doing art with me. She's going to be, so Caitlin will be back Tuesday and Wednesday next week, and she wants to do a unicorn. So the picture, if you saw that on my page, was a unicorn. And I don't want you to think that she's, well, she's amazing at drawing. She did not draw that unicorn. She's 4 years old. I drew the unicorn for her. She painted it. But she's totally capable of drawing a unicorn. So next week, we're going to draw a unicorn, but it'll be more Caitlin style. So anyways, I didn't want you to think that my abilities to teach were like beyond, like I had some kind of superpower. She's done a lot of drawing with me, and like I said, when you teach kids how to draw, it's amazing what they learn really quick. So, but she painted that, and so I promised her we would draw a unicorn, so I'm going to teach her how to draw a unicorn next week. Alright, what other? We're going to go with some, let's just take some blue and yellow this time, and some white to get it lighter. Okay. Just make some other plants here. I'm trying to remember. I did a huge mural for somebody that, whoops, something's on me, that has a daycare, and she had me do this whole jungle mural on the wall, on 2 walls, huge 25-foot wall maybe on one of them. The other one might have been about 15 feet, and I did all jungle with the whole scene going on, the sky, all the trees and the plants and flowers, and this would be a great backdrop for your communion, by the way. Sorry, made me think of that. Anyways, so I did all this jungle stuff, and we did I did jungle animals for this daycare. It was so neat. I think it's in my photo section under albums, under murals, if you want to look at it. But anyways, this is how I did. I just had my colors that I painted, that I paint with all the time, and I just started mixing colors and just making plants without really knowing. I didn't like pull out an encyclopedia. Well, we don't use encyclopedias, but I didn't pull out, reference to make sure the plants that I were making were realistic. It was just green, everything, leaves, and all that kind of stuff. So, I need to figure out something up there for the white, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I can come in with another color. Let's do, one more thing, and then we're gonna do something really fun with this, and then we'll get off and let you guys get on with your day. Now I thank you all for joining in on this, and I'll be back tomorrow. Trying to find a good time to do this. I think 1 o'clock is probably a good time because we're not really going anywhere. The morning sometimes I have my dad here, and sometimes he's in getting his breakfast and stuff, so I just want to make sure that we're not getting too much background noise with people around. I don't know what this plant is, but we're just going to go with it. Let's bring some of these plant things forward here. Okay, I'm going to stop with that, and then we're going to come up really quick, clean my brush off, getting the green out of it as best I can. I'm going to take some white with some blue. Don't want much. I want a lot of white, and I'm just going to come up and fill these areas in with a little blue. Kind of pull them down in there. If you have any white spots left, you can add. Normally I do my background and then add all the stuff on top, but I just thought I was going to have it all covered in green, but instead of going back and adding more green up there, I'll just let some pieces of the sky show through. And then right there. And then we're going to do one more thing. Okay. Alright, so with this red, since I got the red out, I didn't plan, I was just going to do all green today, but with this red, we're going to take some white and red on my brush, and I'm just going to, my green's really wet, so it's really blending in, but it does make for some interesting flowers going on here. Because I'm not blending it too much, I'm just kind of setting it on top, but it did pick up the green, which is fine. I'll just dab it on there. Kind of pushing my brush, letting it make a little texture going on. Okay, there's one. So let's take some yellow and red. Still need the white, so it shows up good. I did mix it a little bit, don't have to. But I have all the different colors on my brush. So we're going to just add this little, let's go a little bit more yellow and white on that. I don't know what these flowers are, but they're pretty. Again, my green's shown through, but that's okay. So anyways, let's see, what else? Does anybody have any suggestions or something else I could put on here? This would be a great place if you wanted to try painting a chameleon. You could put it right along this palm branch or whatever. But let's see, I'm just going to take some of this red because there is other colors of foliage. Whoops, I didn't mean to get blue. Where did I get the blue from? It wasn't the color I was trying to get. I wanted green. This didn't quite turn out what I thought. But just some different colors down here. I want some of that green to pull into it. Now it's not. These make me think, is it bromelain? Is that the plant I'm thinking of? They need shade, I know that. They can't have any sunshine because we tried to have them before. Ariana, my oldest daughter, loved them, and I don't know if she has successfully had them as houseplants or not, but they cannot have any sunlight. There's just some grasses down below. All right. Fun. Okay, that's it for today. A little bit of tropics going on here. Help us forget about the rainy. Although the rain will make the stuff grow. It's supposed to be wintry tomorrow. Kay, you want to show us your chameleon painting? And I'll get off. You're doing awesome. Looks very nice. Kane's going to show his chameleon that he got watercolored. That's very good. Look at all I love the patterns you have on his tail. Good job. All right, thanks guys. Tomorrow, if you have a suggestion of what you'd like me to paint or draw with the kids first, tell me. I haven't decided yet what it's going to be. I also have, and I got to work on how to make this available to you. I have my niece helping me, Ashley. She's helping me get where you can send me, or where if you want, I can't even talk right. I have that wherever it went. I wrote down 30 prompts, painting prompts, and if you want that list, I'll have that available for you to get that. I can email it to you. So as soon as I figure that out, I'll have that. And like I said, if you have ideas for what you want to paint tomorrow, we'll be here again at 1 o'clock. And you guys enjoy your day with your family. And we'll talk to you soon. See ya. Well, see you in a minute. I gotta get this to turn off. All right, thanks guys.